everybody, and welcome to another episode of the the Game Room Podcast. I'm your host, Rome, and it's the YouTube channel, Broken Tables Podcast. I'm your host, Rome, alongside my co-hosts, Forrest and Dev. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good. Go Birds.
Go Birds! Yeah.
Good couple days.
What
Yo,
up?
I got a story about that.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So I literally it's I don't know how, but at my job they figured out I'm from Philly. And I literally got a fist bump today just because the Eagles won and they're like, "Good job being from Philly." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Good
I
job.
was like, "I didn't do anything."
That's an upgrade. That's an upgrade. They really acknowledge that you're not actually from Jersey. Like that's a huge plus.
Okay, I'll give you that one. That one's true.
You're stepping up in the world. That's great. After stepping down, you're stepping back up.
I'm just living my best life.
Well, yeah, go Birds indeed, and very excited for the Super Bowl. But we have a stacked show with video game news here tonight. We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff, including, some breaking news that just came out about Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation, and none of them are going to be E3 this year. We're also going to talk about some more FTC Activision fun stuff, and we're going to have our topic of the show, which is the Xbox Developer Direct. We're going to discuss that and give some grades out. So let's get right into the news headlines. First one, Dev, I know you're not a big wrestling fan, but a lot of our audience is as well. But we're going to talk about the AEW Fight Forever game. WrestleZone got a scoop on why the release date hasn't been revealed, and then we had a little bit of an update after this news broke. So AEW announced their first ever console game back in November of 2020. Well, fans have been very eager to get their hands on what is now known as AEW Fight Forever. Several hurdles and obstacles have delayed the game's overall development and eventual release date. AEW Fight Forever was internally expected to be released back in September of 2022 before the date shifted to November. Despite Kenny Omega's hopes for the game to see a release date in 2022, the game eventually was moved into 2023 with a February release window. Unfortunately, February no longer looks to be on the table either. The reason for this is basically back in November, THQ Nordic and All Elite Wrestling released a trailer for the game, which pegged the game with a teen rating. The only problem is that the game has not officially been rated by the ESRB yet. So basically, AEW and THQ Nordic, they keep sending AEW Fight Forever into the ESRB for rating, and the ESRB has multiple times rated it as M for mature. This is basically what has led to the lack of news, the lack of a release date. So basically, they are trying to get a T for teen rating. That's the rating they want to go for, which I understand. I'm a little disappointed. I would like to see them go for their full vision. I would like to see the M rating personally. But for now, that's just what we are kind of waiting to see. However, later on last week, GameStop employees leaked some video, or not video, pictures, basically kind of implying that AEW Fight Forever advertising was going to go up in April, which usually means that it's going to come out that month. So people are kind of thinking that the game might be coming out in April now. Now, Forrest, you're really big into creating your wrestlers and stuff like that. How excited are you for the creation suite in AEW Fight Forever?
I want it so bad. Also, they got the arcadey feel, which the 2020. Actually, it's funny. Somebody brought this up in my chat today. Plug myself, twitch.tv/FireStude. They brought it up. They were like, "Oh, are you excited for 2K23?" And I was like, they had a funny commercial, and that was it. That's as far as I went. I like that commercial. I thought it was funny. Anyway, AEW, I want it because I like it, the arcadiness. I need to see what tools it gives me and can I break them. Like that's what I do. I go in and I max out the CPU custom. I want it because they also have those like arcadey modes, and it's gonna be a lot more fun, lot of leg room and a lot more entertainment I can do with it. Like I might just give it its own tournament. Like just make a bunch of stuff and then just have them all fight and stuff, And I want to see it. I want it to be good. I hope it's good. The graphics look good. The B-roll looks good that I'm looking at right now. Move speed, everything. Everything looks impactful and good.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to get my hands on it. I know Jeff is as well. Jeff's not, he's not able to be on the show tonight. But he's really excited for it as well, and I would say expect content from AEW Fight Forever when it comes out.
Question: do you
Yes.
think it's getting the M rating because of the thumbtacks?
I think it's getting the M rating because of the thumbtacks, the blood. Um, I think it's the blood. Yeah, it's the blood.
But okay, so WWE games bleed.
Yeah, I think that it's
Maybe
just
maybe they pushed it. I feel like they push things. It could be
To be
language.
fair, to be fair, I have not seen a Crimson Mask in 22 yet.
exactly. I mean, in the WWE games, it could just be like a little streak of red. In AEW Fight Forever, some of the gameplay footage we saw, the blood looked pretty good. It didn't look exactly there. The mat was so
Oh, that's probably why. But like, okay, that's actually realistic. That's realistic to the
Yeah.
game. Why aren't they okay? Like, are they not aware of the product that this is a reference to?
I think they want the T for team rating. I think that's really big for them. It's their first video game. AEW is
I,
still a young brand. They want to try to get in the hands of young people.
no. I didn't mean AEW. I meant the ESRB.
Well, the ESRB doesn't care if it's true to the product or not. They're just looking at the content of the game and saying what they rate it.
I mean, okay, that's just it's just too much blood, and they're giving it an M.
7 out of
Like,
10, too much blood.
bruh, like no, it's like it's Mortal Kombat all over again. Like I don't know what's going on lately, but everybody's like gotten real kindergarten about everything lately.
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Like any type of sponsor, any type of anything. This is off topic, but just real kindergarten about a lot of shit lately. YouTube, even not to diss the platform we're using, but at the same time, even they've like put on kid gloves. It's YouTube kindergartners now.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. I think it's the state of the world kind of just sucks in a lot of ways. It's just not. It ain't what it used to be. And you could be, you could be. I don't. How do I want to phrase this? You could be good. You could be high quality, and you can be mature. Like obviously, like disrespecting other people. Like in some ways, it makes sense for people to kind of watch what you say a little bit more, watch what you put out a little bit more. But in terms of like blood in a video game, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit about this.
Exactly. We grew up with Mortal Kombat on Sega, and they forgot to take the blood out. And like it was, you specifically got the Sega version for the extra blood.
Oh, they
And
didn't forget. Sega knew exactly what they were doing. They wanted to one up Nintendo, who would not put blood in their game.
yeah, so it's just like, why are we back there again? What happened? Who got in charge that they don't remember how things went down?
Yeah. It's a shame. But I'm looking forward to AEW Fight Forever, and we'll see what happens. Next up, another one that, again, it's a shame Jeff couldn't be on the show tonight, because this was another one that Jeff actually was very adamant about talking about. But a veteran World of Warcraft lead has resigned in protest of this dumb Activision policy. The following comes from Windows Central. Um, so this isn't related, obviously, to Xbox, but it's just another reason why Activision Blizzard should not be left to its own devices. It should not be self-regulated. It needs to be owned by someone else. So World of Warcraft has had a pretty stunning year this year. The aging MMO has managed to see something of a turnaround in the past 12 months. World of Warcraft Dragonflight seems universally loved by its players after a couple of disappointing expansions. Blizzard also released Wrath of the Lich King for WoW Classic, which revives the legendary expansion from the MMO's popularity Apex. Despite all the success, turmoil within the company is still ongoing as the firm wrestles with lawsuits pertaining to, abuse of its staff, the unwieldy Microsoft acquisition, and now a huge spotlight on one of its controversial policies. Brian Brigham led development of WoW Classic and has been with the legendary studio since 2006. Since Blizzard's merger with Activision, unpopular CEO Bobby Kotick has imposed heavily on the studio, doubtless directly impacting the games themselves. Owing to a report in Bloomberg and other comments from Brian Burnham himself, we now know about another irritating impact Activision corporate has on Blizzard and other subsidiaries. Brigham explains that Activision uses an odd stack ranking system to grade and appraise employees in what would be described as dehumanizing attempt to enforce productivity and competition between employees. Brigham elaborates that these policies are set above current Blizzard lead Mike Ibarra, who doubtless recalls stack ranking from his tenure at Microsoft. Microsoft killed off the practice back in 2013 when Phil Spencer started to take over. They kind of got rid of it because it was kind of a bad policy, obviously. The worst aspect of this policy is Activision Blizzard's implementation of a quota system, which is what directly led to Brigham's resignation. Regardless of how hard employees have worked, managers have to assign 5% of their teams to a developing rank, which can result in decreased opportunities, decreased pay, and decreased bonuses. So basically, Blizzard or Activision is making Blizzard in their company structure pick 5% of their employees, even if everybody's doing a good job. 5% of their employees, basically give them a slap on the wrist, could decrease their pay, their hours, their opportunities, their bonuses, just because they have to pick somebody.
What?
That's ridiculous.
Yes. So 5% of Blizzard's workers. That's why this guy Brian Brigham. That's why he resigned, because he had to. He was sick of it. He just didn't want to do it anymore. He didn't want to pick 5% of his work staff to say, "Hey, I have to pick somebody. You guys suck." Like what? Like what is that? Like come on, man.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm sorry, who wrote that policy? The Ubisoft person?
No, Activision. This is Activision.
I know, no, but that was the joke. It's the
Oh,
CEO.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, this is just an embarrassing thing to come out, and it just again like Activision cannot be like everything that we've heard about Activision over the years. The Cosby Room, the harassment, the neglecting of their IP, like on every level, from a serious level to an entertainment value level, they've really dropped the ball, and I'm glad to see Xbox hopefully right the ship.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I somebody needs to take them over. At this point, their brand is so tarnished with all this stuff coming out that the only way, literally, they need to pull the what is it? When you have bad service, so you put up the under new management sign. They literally need to use that strategy to stay in business. Like under new management by Xbox. Like, God, how do you just run your crap into the ground like this? Just bad PR after bad PR. Like, what is that policy? Who came up with that? Like, what? I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, again, it imposes competition against your employees, which, from a corporate standpoint, obviously corporations love when their employees are competing against each other. I mean, I don't think it's very beneficial in any corporation or any company or any work of life. I mean, competition is great to a friendly extent, but when it gets to a point where it's like, hey, I need to do better than you because I don't want to get this 5% tag on me, like that's not healthy.
No, that's not. That's literally isn't that also I think that's like there's got to be policies in place just in general business that stop that kind of behavior. So I don't know about that one.
Yeah,
That's not cool. Not cool. Don't do it. Good. I'm glad he left. That's a great reason to leave. I'm not doing that to my employees. You suck. I'll go make my own studio.
Yeah, it's sad that he had to leave. Like, it's sad that he was forced into a position where he had to leave. But yeah, you don't want to be stuck doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, you don't. I couldn't like as a boss. I couldn't do that. I would never. I would point me every like. I'd be like me. Like
like Bobby Kotick. I would put the CEO name, the COO. It's like, yeah, man, these executives, man, they're just not doing what we
these
need them to
guys
do.
suck. And then what are they gonna do? Fire you when you wanted to quit anyway? God.
All right.
You're like, I'm not doing that. That would have been a great way to go out, though. He wrote their names, and that's what he got fired for. That would have been like the most legendary shit.
That would have been pretty funny. Well, again, hopefully Microsoft can come through and purchase Activision because that's what's best, honestly. Um, Speaking of which, a little update on that. I do have some news later in the show about it, but just a quick one. Microsoft has subpoenaed Sony as it prepares to defend itself against the FTC's case. According to Axios' Stephen Tortillo, Microsoft subpoenaed Sony on January 17th, asking it to hand over internal information to help it build its defense against the lawsuit the FTC is bringing against the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. That's fun. So Microsoft's going to
It
court.
just keeps
Yeah, I know. It's great, isn't it?
dude, it's obnoxious. It's just like oh my god. Now they're okay. I mean, like, good for Xbox, I guess, for suing them back, but also like, God, this is the most like American. Oh my gosh,
Well, so
like
they're not necessarily suing, so they're subpoenaing. So they're giving a Sony a subpoena, which basically means you need to be in court for this case. Like,
make it
like
inconvenient. Yeah.
they're basically saying like, no, you need to be here because you're part of our defense. Like, we want to cross-examine you, we want to talk to you, we want to basically embarrass you because it's
Dunk
like
on them
Xbox
in
is
court.
like, I'll be fair. Xbox has had some really dumb shit during this Activision Blizzard thing, but PlayStation has taken the cake. Like these guys have just been, oh my god, just at every
It's
possible turn.
I can't like just like oh my god, just fist fight already. And the winner takes the IP. Like I don't care. Gosh, either let it go through or square up. Like come on.
Seriously. Well, again, this was going to be a Jeff heavy show, but he's not here. Call of Duty has big changes coming to it, mostly for Warzone 2 and DMZ in Season 2. Um, this is going to end up being kind of a rant instead of a discussion because I know you guys don't play Call of Duty, and I do. So does Jeff. Basically, as we talked about last week, their numbers are down. People just aren't playing it, and I think that really just comes down to the core fan base not actually being interested in a battle royale. I think they just don't want to play that. Like Call of Duty made Blackout instead of a single player game back in Black Ops 4, and it was so well made that they were like, well, we need to keep doing battle royale moving forward. So they made Warzone, and it was very popular with the Call of Duty fan base because it was basically multiplayer in a battle royale setting. With Warzone 2, they went out and they tried to do something different. They tried to make a battle royale, and people just don't like it. So basically, Warzone 2 will be making some changes. The first big change is the Gulag, which is usually a 2v2. We'll go back to a 1v1 with no jailer, basically simplifying it, making it a little bit easier for the mouth breathers. You know what I mean? It's just, God forbid, we got good at games. As for loot, Warzone 2.0 will be shifting away from loot windows and menus to floating loot that will now drop out of all containers in the world, similar to a loot from supply boxes. Again, we need to dumb it down. People just did not like going into boxes for loot. We just need to just lay the loot out on the ground so everyone can easily see it. You know what I mean? It's great. Um, oh man, if only Jeff was here to have a conversation with me. Anyways, they're doing away with the medium and large backpack sizes. Again, we can't trouble players to worry about what size their backpack is. We need to give everyone one universal backpack, so there's no worries about any of that. They're also doing away with the 3-plate vest and just giving every player 3 plates because why would you make looting valuable? Let's just give them the armor plate. It's great.
It's almost
Um,
like they're taking the battle royale out of the battle royale.
Ding 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 ding. Um, I mean that those are the big changes so far. It's sad to see for me, and Call of Duty players can get upset about it. It is what it is. I love Call of Duty more than Call of Duty players do because I actually want Call of Duty to be good. I don't just buy it regardless. Like I actually hope for it to be good every year. And to see, when we did the review on episode 2 of the Game Room podcast, I was so happy with them because it really seemed like they were trying something new here, and I applauded them because what's the biggest critique about Call of Duty from non-regular Call of Duty fans? It's the same game every year. Would you say that's a fair?
Yeah, you hear that a lot. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I applauded them for really going and doing something different this year. But unfortunately, the masses did not agree, and now they're going to go back and basically just Warzone 2 is going to be Warzone 1. So
I think just wait to see the changes are made. Maybe it makes
Yeah.
the gameplay faster.
For me, I like the tactics of it, and you're just taking away tactics.
Your tactics are still there. It seems like it's what you said. It seems like it's a lot of streamlined stuff. I don't know. Maybe it can just.
I think for me, it just kind of takes away my biggest thing with Warzone 1. One of my biggest things was looting was pointless, and if you make looting pointless in a battle royale, why is it a battle royale? Looting is one of the biggest things for a battle royale, along with the zone, player elimination, which Warzone also got rid of because of the gulag. Which I didn't like in Warzone 2 either, but I at least appreciated the fact that they made it harder. Like you had to squat up with someone that you didn't know. The jailer could come in, and it's just like I don't know. I thought it took more skill, so I accepted it for what it was and let it exist. Um, but I was really into it, and it's just they're just going back to Warzone 1. So I don't
Yeah,
know
they're
why
not sticking to their guns.
they're not. It's really sad to see. It's sad to see them crumble on it.
For a game about guns, they're not sticking to their guns.
Well, it's a shame there's no dissenting opinions here to converse about it.
But yeah, so I'll play devil's advocate. But actually,
All right.
no, it's more to your point. Actually, it's the opposite of devil's advocate.
By all means,
It's actually your point. I was talking to somebody who plays Call of Duty, and they were like, I was like, oh, you do Warzone? Like he was telling me, I didn't know they played Call of Duty, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, are you playing Warzone at all? He was like, no.
Hmm.
So it was just literally just like, no, deathmatch.
See, for me, it was Warzone. The only reason I stopped playing Warzone was the combat record, and I will give them that critique where it's like the fact that you launched 3 months ago and you don't have a combat record that tracks stats and wins and stuff. Like I think that's kind of ridiculous. And some people, including like I know Jeff has his theories about why they don't have it tracking, but I think I just think there's no legitimate reason not to track stats in a multiplayer game in 2023. Because I like to track my wins and kind of like, oh cool, now I'm at like 25 wins. Let's see if I can get to 30 wins by the end of the month or whatever. So like that's kind of how I like to enjoy battle royale. I take pride in the wins that I stack up because winning in a battle royale should not be easy. You know what I mean? Like that's why respawning in a battle royale doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it should be hard. It should be, damn, you really got to be careful because if you get shot, if you get killed, that's it. Like I think that makes the battle royale scheme better, but teach their own.
Mm.
Let's see. All right, Xbox revealed their fiscal year 23 quarter two gaming revenue. It was down 13% year over year. Not going to go too much into the numbers and stuff like that, but basically they said that there was a decrease year over year. Gaming specifically saw a 13% year-over-year reduction in revenue, with a 12% decline in Xbox content and services, and a 13% decline in hardware sales. Despite this, they also go on to say later in the stats that they're giving out that Xbox actually they reached like a peak user count over the last quarter. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's like it seems like people are just in the ecosystem and they want to be there, but they need to amp up their first party releases and stuff like that if they're going to bring in, new customers.
Yeah. No, like even. Well, we'll get to it. Continue.
Just to kind of also collaborate with that, the number was that they hit 120 million monthly active users on Xbox.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so good numbers for them. But we will be talking about first party support on this show. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, next up, some unfortunate news. Justin Roiland is out at High on Life Studio, Squanch Games, after felony charges. Rick and Morty.
Yikes.
Yes, yikes, indeed. Rick and Morty and Squanch Games co-founder Justin Roiland is out as CEO of the High on Life developer, the company announced last Tuesday. The company tweeted from its official Twitter account that Roiland resigned last week on January 16th. The news of his resignation comes hours after Adult Swim cut ties with the Rick and Morty creator. Roiland is facing felony domestic abuse charges stemming from an incident in 2020. His arrest and charges went unreported publicly until NBC News first reported the case in January. The passionate team at Squanch Games will keep developing games we know our fans will love while continuing to support and improve High on Life, Squanch Games tweeted. Squanch Games has not responded to Polygon's request for additional comment at the time of the posting of their article. Real bummer.
Yeah.
It really sucks to see. So this is not video game related, but I just want to see if you guys agree with me. Rick and Morty. It should be canceled, right? It should just end.
I don't think so.
He voices the two main characters.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
I would just.
Okay, just for sheer car crash value, I do want to see the next season, and I have not watched like the last 5 seasons. I'm very curious to hear the new Rick and the new Morty. But yeah, I mean, like if you want to not taint the legacy, and I'm using air quotes.
Well, I don't like.
Yeah, just end it.
Yeah, just end it. I would just end the show.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he is just a co-creator. There is another creator. I forget.
Yeah, Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon. Yeah.
And Dan Harmon's still working on the show.
Yeah. So it's.
But again, like for me, it's like it's Rick and Morty. It's the two main characters of the entire show. Like you have to recast them, and I think he does. I'm sure Roiland does more voices on the show than just Rick and Morty.
Yes. Every voice that sounds like Morty.
That is also true.
But I mean, we'll have to see what happens with that. It's again, it just sucks to see.
It does suck.
But I still want to play High on Life. You feel bad for Squanch Games, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like
they put out this great game last year at the end of the year, and now they're kind of getting marred with controversy that's not really their fault.
Yeah,
So I think
it
it sucks.
You still want to play the game. Definitely still play the game. I'm gonna play the game eventually.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't think they should be punished.
All right, on to some really awesome news that happened this past week. GoldenEye 007. It was not in our weekly releases last week because it shadow dropped this past week. GoldenEye released for the Nintendo Switch Online (NSO) and the Xbox Game Pass. Really awesome, really cool.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the discourse, and it's actually pretty not sad, but the Nintendo Switch version is getting a lot of shit right now. Did you see that?
No, I actually heard the opposite. I thought I heard that the way to go is the Switch version.
So the Switch version has online multiplayer, where the Xbox version does not. Now the reason for that people don't realize is like, oh, how did Xbox not do this? Nintendo Switch, their NSO is an emulator, and the online connectivity connects via the emulator, not the game. Like you jump in to the NSO app on a multiplayer thing. You know what I mean? Like you could have Mario 64 running with someone in your NSO game. They can't do anything because it's not multiplayer, but that's how that works. With Xbox, they didn't want to put multiplayer, or they just didn't put multiplayer in the port. Nintendo kind of slapped it on the front. But the shit that Nintendo's getting is the control scheme is apparently god awful. Like because you can't really map well to the Pro controller. And this is actually something that the N64 games that I've played on the NSO, I can definitely back up on.
Do they still not have controller mapping?
I think no, I don't think they do.
That's crazy.
Right. I tried. So for the NSO, for me, for the N64 games, I've played Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask on the NSO. I tried the Pro controller for Ocarina and Mario 64. And it was bad. Like I'm really happy that I was able to get one of those N64 controllers that they sell, but they're very limited. They're really hard to come by. Like they go in and out of stock every few months for like 5 minutes, and they're just gone.
Dang.
So yeah, it sucks because apparently the game's not, it's not controlling well on that. But the Xbox version apparently, is running really well. I haven't played either version yet, but I'm just going off of what I've heard. The Xbox has higher res, obviously, because it's a Series X. Looks nicer. Has achievements. The controller is apparently it's an Xbox controller. Like playing a prehistoric FPS like GoldenEye on an Xbox controller modern day, like that's the best it's ever controlled. You think about it on the N64, it one stick on for an FPS.
Is there a split screen?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll probably at some point.
All right, let's go over to the chat real quick. Let's see what's going on.
Yo, TJ, what's up?
What's going on, TJ? We're just talking about GoldenEye. It came out on the NSO and Xbox Game Pass this past week. Eventually, I'll probably play it on both, but I'm definitely going to lean Xbox just because the achievements and playing it on an Xbox controller just sounds super appealing to me. It's something I definitely just want to get into. All right, let's see. Next up on our list. This wasn't like super big news, but this was a game that I played last year that I fell in love with, so I wanted to talk about it. Road 96, which I played on the Switch, but it's on Game Pass now as well, is getting a surprise prequel in April. Road 96 is a really cool game.
Is it the game where you play as a taxi driver?
No, not exactly.
I know you're in car.
Peggy.
You are in a car for a lot of it. I don't want to spoil it, but it's basically you play as randomly generated teenagers.
Okay.
You play as randomly generated teenagers, and they're all trying to escape their country due to just the current state of it. And
Okay.
I don't want to go in too far into it, but that's the idea. So these teenagers are trying to cross the border over into the next country over, just to escape it all because they're young and they can't stand what the generation before them is doing to the country. And your objective is to take these characters that you come across and get them to the border. Now the trick is, number one, you can fail. And that teenager could get captured, could die, there's like a bunch of stuff. Or you could succeed and make it to the border. And then you kind of go back and you play as another teenager, whether you succeed or fail. And the cool thing is that it's randomly generated. So like I played through the game at once and I didn't see everything the game had to offer because it's randomly generated. It's a really cool game. It's on our games list actually, for games I want you to play.
Okay.
I really liked it. But it's getting a prequel on April 4th called Road 96 Mile Zero. Again, it's basically a prequel. It's basically
I guess how everything started.
how because so in Road 96, you don't meet the teenager before they run away. You meet them as they're starting their journey. Sometimes it's a few days after they started their journey. It's always different. So it seems to me, based off what I'm gathering, this game will kind of be how do we get there in the first place? Now there are some characters that you meet on the road along the way, and it seems like we will be seeing some of those characters and their prequels.
The two characters that they showed in the trailer we just saw,
Yeah.
are those going to be like the main characters, or are those just like characters for the poster?
I need to look at the B-roll because I wasn't looking at the B-roll. So I'm not sure. I don't know. They could be. So I do see some characters that I recognize from other games. Like,
Okay.
again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I did just see a character that I know was in the last game. But yeah, I'm really excited for this game, and it seems like it has a little bit more to it as well, a little bit more like gameplay outside of the just kind of traveling around type thing. But yeah, so I'm excited for this. I wanted to talk about it because it was a great game. It's not a very well-known game, so I think it was worth talking. But I would like to see it come to Game Pass too. That's always nice. All right. Naughty Dog says that it's moved on from Uncharted and could do the same with Last of Us someday. Naughty Dog co-president Neil Druckmann has said that the studio has moved on from the Uncharted series, and they'll do the same for The Last of Us, should they decide not to proceed with a third mainline series entry.
Yeah.
So there's not really much to this apart from Neil Druckmann was talking with BuzzFeed. He told the studio that they're moving on. They're done with Uncharted, and when they're done with Last of Us, they'll be done with Last of Us.
I think that's cool though. I like it when the developers are able to like, you know, put the game to bed. They did what? How many games? Like 6 Uncharted games.
I think 5 technically,
5?
if you want to get
Okay.
technical. Yeah.
So yeah, on to something else. They're a great developer, so whatever they work on next will be awesome. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
All right. All right, back to the FTC. The most fun topic of the week, you know what I mean? The FTC has reportedly they've timed their opposition to Microsoft's deal to manipulate the European Union. A report suggests that the FTC chose to make its case when it did in order to manipulate the European Union, fellow regulatory authority, also scrutinizing the Activision acquisition. According to Bloomberg, the FTC moved to block the merger on December 8th in a direct response to EU officials indicating they were planning to discuss possible remedies with Microsoft. This information was shared over a call between two agencies mere hours before the lawsuit was filed. Sources familiar with the investigation said the FTC's suit was a clear message to the EU that the US regulator did not want settlements with Microsoft reached. This occurred despite the fact that the EU wouldn't consider possible solutions until a later date. The FTC was able to get out in front of the Europeans in an effort to shape the narrative by rapidly filing, said Barry Nigro. Previously, Nigro was the number 2 antitrust official at the Justice Department as Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General. Reportedly, the FTC has declined to comment, and the EU has not responded to the inquiries either. So, yeah, FTC playing games. Also, a little update was Reuters reported last week that Sony's Jim Ryan met with the European Union regulators to talk about the acquisition. Details of the conversation were not disclosed. It's just like, I'm sorry, why are you flying? Like, you just fly. He's like, I got to meet with the European Union, man. I got to do what's right for all the gamers, not just PlayStation gamers. But
He did get subpoenaed, so maybe he had to go over.
no, not yet. The trial hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
No, we know what he's
Won't go on
doing. He's coming back. He's coming out with a checkbook. He's like, is there any way we can make something work between us? Or, you know what I mean? Just that's dumb. It's really dumb. Let's head over to the chat before we get into the next part of our Activision news story. TJ says, I get the studio moving on, but Naughty Dog doesn't have to move on from the series. Neil Druckmann can move on. A smaller studio within Naughty Dog can make a game. That's very true.
But I think they want to move on. It's not like they're being forced to move on. They're saying like we're done with this, and whatever Sony wants is in their hands. Sony can give it to a smaller studio if they want, but I think Naughty Dog wants to move on.
I suppose. The day trading Doge is here, and he says this is a classic marketing tactic. Take the game away, and when fans shout, "We want more," you give it to them.
Yep.
That's very true.
But no one's shouting they want more
Uncharted or PlayStation fanboys are absolutely. They got to buy some time until Tom Holland grows up enough for the sequel.
shouting.
Maybe you just don't listen to people.
You said 5, 6 games, technically 5.
Yeah, well, 4 with expansions.
And then the way that The Last of Us 2 ended, people aren't really shouting for more of that either.
Excuse me. All right, and then the last bit of Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard news. Sony accused of lying to EU regulators about the Microsoft Activision deal. Well, yeah, I mean, then now they're lying. As Microsoft's planned $69 billion acquisition continues, there was a report from. This changed since the last time I read it. While Microsoft is publicly committed to keeping the popular first-person shooter franchise on PlayStation once the merger closes, the firm says that Sony has been suggesting otherwise to Brussels officials. News comes as the EU reportedly plans to serve Microsoft an antitrust warning. I hear Sony is briefing people in Brussels, claiming Microsoft is unwilling to offer them parity for Call of Duty if we acquire Activision. Nothing could be further from the truth, wrote Frank X. Shaw, Microsoft's corporate vice president of communication. We've been clear. We've offered Sony a 10-year deal to give them parity on timing, content, features, quality, playability, and other aspects of the game. We've also said we're happy to make this enforceable through a contract, regulatory agreements, or other means. So basically now, Xbox saying, hey, you guys are telling lies.
Of course.
Do you think Sony's telling lies?
Of course. Microsoft and Sony are both telling lies in this. That's what you have to do in big business things like this. It's just... Come on, that's what
lying forever.
You just gotta lie. You just gotta lie.
Yeah.
Everyone just keeps lying.
All right, let's see. And we have 2 more news topics for the day. First one being Phil Spencer did an interview with IGN this past week. There was some cool stuff on it, but he does own up to 2022 being a light year for them. But, you know, kind of leads to say that 2023 will be a big year for them.
Hope so.
He says, our commitment to our fans is that we need to have a steady release of great games that people can play on our platform. We didn't do enough of that in 2022. There's no doubt, Spencer told IGN. And fundamentally, that's on me. I'm ahead of the business. You know, during the interview, he goes on to say that it's just, I guess, it was a really cool interview. I recommend people watching it. It's like a 25-minute video. But I thought that was really good. He mentions that he was asked whether 2023 is a critical year for Xbox. Spencer said in his typically kind of dodgy way, he's like, well, every year is critical. Nevertheless, he also said he feels good about Xbox's momentum going into the next year.
It makes sense. They have 2 big games, 2 of the biggest games dropping, plus some other smaller stuff. So.
Well, I mean, yeah,
it's going to be a big year for them, I feel like.
I think that we're really shaping up for a big year for them. Whether you play everything that they're putting out or not is a different question.
Yeah,
but, I mean, we'll get into it in the topic of the show. But real quick, let's so that was going to be the end of the news headlines. However, as Dev and I were setting up, there was one last headline that. So this is breaking news. This broke like less than an hour ago.
Ooh,
Yeah, breaking news.
breaking news.
Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation will not be a part of E3 this year. E3's first physical event in 4 years was supposed to be a triumphant return for the trade show, an opportunity to recapture some of the excitement of past conventions, which historically have been major showcase events for the game industry. However, it appears that when E3 2023 hits the LA Convention Center this June, it will be without 3 of its most important draws. IGN has reported that they've heard from multiple knowledgeable sources that Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo won't be a part of E3 or have a presence at the convention center showroom floor. This information comes on the heels of Xbox announcement last week that it would be returning to Los Angeles for its annual summer showcase, while declining to confirm whether it would be part of the show itself. I think this is a huge blow to IGN or to E3.
E3.
To E3 is a huge blow to E3.
Oh yeah, to E3.
Yeah.
So for clarity, this doesn't mean that there won't be showcases. Xbox has already said they're going to be doing a showcase. Technically, Xbox hasn't been a part of E3 for a few years now. Sony has straight up done nothing at E3. Not even.
Well, I mean, they'll just hold a concert, so it's not like
That's fine.
you know I'm not missing anything there. I don't actually care that Sony's not coming. Like, if Square Enix should come, they could leave Sony at home. But like, so the studios will still be there, is what you're saying. So like, Devolver Digital, Square Enix, Capcom. I can't think of anyone else.
And I did read that Microsoft is saying that they're going to time up their whatever they have. They're going to show whatever, like I guess the new showcase thing. They're going to time it up in the same week frame as E3.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be something still related.
Okay.
Sony usually does something a week before or a week after. So like,
it's more of a symbolic thing. They're not going to have a presence on the showroom floor. They're not going to be a part of E3 or its marketing materials.
mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think
it's sad. It's sad to see.
Okay, wait. So wait, they're still gonna do a presentation though?
Yeah, of course.
Well, so Xbox will.
Yeah, Xbox will. Sony usually does, but it's usually
Nintendo didn't do a direct last year.
Yeah,
that's
Nintendo
notable. That's noteworthy. They didn't do a direct during June last year.
Nintendo does their own thing though.
Nintendo's always done whatever Nintendo wants.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get a treehouse, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
We're all dying.
That's a big one. Also, you gotta remember that they didn't have a lot of games to show probably at E3. I mean, they're gonna have.
You said Microsoft?
No, Nintendo. They're gonna have Tears of the Kingdom, but we don't know any big.
Well, Tears of the Kingdom comes out before that.
Yeah, exactly. So what? They don't have anything big to show. So I guess.
Only that we know of.
Yeah, we know of. That's true.
They have nothing slated for their holiday launch lineup.
Yeah. So.
They have nothing slated past May, which is Tears of the Kingdom.
That's crazy.
In July.
They know what they're about. They know what they're about. They're like, we don't even need to make other games after this.
Too as well, but
I think we're getting a direct this week.
Their summer release. It's probably gonna be August. It's like
maybe. TJ in the chat saying Xbox needs to be present for all these in order to get the mindshare that comes with it. If E3 is back, it will do numbers. If Xbox wins E3, all eyes on them. Same thing for the Game Awards. Xbox revealed their Xbox Series consoles there. They need to grow, or they need to grab the eyes that come with featuring in these shows. With 30 plus studios, they have enough games to show. I agree. And again, I think there's value in the games industry coming together and kind of showing everything that they've got to offer. That's why I'm kind of
the showcase. I've heard that E3 is very expensive for them. That's why Sony dropped out first. It's just like they're spending so much money on something that they can just do what Nintendo did. You know.
My thing is, and it comes back to like the experience of it, kind of, where it's like
experience, but it's like small percentage that people who get to experience that.
Like hype for video games is not what it used to be, because like obviously there are times where a hype happens still, but
I wanted to get into this. Do you want to know why there's no hype for video games anymore?
Tell me.
Because they don't finish the damn game before they put it out.
That's because they go off a live service model.
It ain't even just live service, dude. It's just nobody finishes their games anymore.
No, it's true.
Bro, take longer. Finish the game. Like, why is Forspoken need a 480 to not even run at 60 frames per second? That's insane. That's so unoptimized.
Yeah, no, I mean it's kind of crazy.
That's like I've never.
Time. That's why we don't get games from them as often. But when the games come out, they're not broken messes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue we still get a good stream of games from Nintendo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, literally, Pokemon was technically a broken mess. By their standards, that'd be a mess.
Oh yeah, by their standards.
By their standards, yeah, not like gaming standards.
There's a Nintendo. That's not a Nintendo game.
But that's like, so I don't know if we ever covered it. That Game Freak is gonna start doing non-Pokemon stuff. Did we talk about that?
I don't think we ever talked about it here on the show. I mean, they've kind of low key been doing a few non-Pokemon things over the years. They did Little Town Hero, amongst those some other stuff.
I'm kind of okay with that. Like, I want to see what else they can do. They've been in the Pokemon dungeon for eternity.
Yeah, TJ agrees with Dev. He says you're right, it's expensive, 100%, but the advertising you get is huge. There was a time when the Game Awards were probably begging for games. Now, with the numbers they do, you go to them. I agree. I think that it's all about mindshare. Like that's the thing you're missing. Like having a game win E3 used to be like the biggest deal. It's like that's the game that won E3.
Well, what we also don't know yet is the summer games show. They could be joining them. I know that's Jeff Keighley's been trying to get that thing on the ball, like going rolling. So
Yeah, but I think the problem with that is that Jeff Summer Game Fest, like he has good announcements with it. But the problem with the Summer Games Fest is that it's just so long and it's so bloated. Like with the other, like with E3, yes, it was long and it was like spread out over like 3 days, but like you knew when to tune in for what you wanted, and there was also at least some kind of like expectations to set. There also wasn't a lot of. I understand that video game trailers are ads, but there aren't like ads for the ads at E3. Whereas with Jeff's Summer Games Fest, a lot of ads on top of ads. It's very annoying.
That's what pays the bills.
I get it, and I respect it. I'm still gonna
Also,
watch it. But E3 didn't need any of that because the ESA footed the bill, and that was great.
The 2022 game showcase, whatever he calls it. I liked. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
I thought his Summer Games Fest. There were some good games at it, but again, it's just bloated. And he made it shorter this year, which was great. But it's still just like some of this stuff just doesn't like it's just meaningless. It's just mobile games and stuff that I mean I understand for someone it's really like oh it's great, but like oh this mobile game came out 3 years ago. Do you want like free gold? Enter this code, and it's like I couldn't care less about this. It's not even a new game. It came out like 3 years ago.
I think even if they went to E3, it's not going to be like it was before 2020. You know, it's never going to be.
I think you could get back to it, but you just need everyone to get all in on it. And if they're not, then they're not. That's fine, but they won't be what it is.
Yeah, TJ says it's not as big as E3 yet, but it has potential. It has potential to get there. It's never going to go. It's never going to be. It's too easy to post a tweet or do what Nintendo's doing. It's so much cheaper to make a 45-minute video, put it out there. You're going to get the views either way. You're the big three. People are going to come and see you. You don't really need to advertise things that big.
Yeah.
Word of mouth does good enough.
Does it though?
Mm-hmm.
It can help, but
if you say, "Hey, I'm going to show Starfield and some other things," people will show up to see Starfield, and they'll be, hopefully pleasantly surprised by other smaller stuff.
But like, you got to look at it like you got to be careful with like people tune into E3 to see the big stuff, and then that's how you also can get into new stuff as well.
Yeah.
I think if you're just kind of cherry picking and looking for announcements and stuff like, oh hey, we're gonna show off Starfield, like that's great. You should definitely show off Starfield, but
that's how you get people there. Even at E3, they did that. When you want to show off smaller stuff, they bring in people with the big stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what they would do.
But they do that at the Summer Games Fest too. Or just in their own personal, we're putting out our Nintendo Direct style video.
Yeah, and just a reminder to everyone who's hanging out with us here live, please hit that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't yet. It really helps us, and we really appreciate it. Do it. All right, let's talk about the games coming out this week. Pretty decently sized list. All right. On January 30th, which is today, Power Wash Simulator comes to PlayStation consoles and Switch. Trek to Yomi also comes out today on Switch. Both are apparently very good games, including Power Wash Simulator, from what I've heard. Tomorrow, on the 31st, we get Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition for Xbox Series consoles. This is another first-person or a first-party release from Xbox in the span of days.
Yeah.
That's 3. It's the third release in a week. And maybe it's not a major release, but it's definitely worth mentioning. And the reviews started kind of coming out today, and they seem very good. Seems like Creative Assembly did a great job porting a strategy game, an RTS game, to a controller, apparently. Also tomorrow, Ink Illuminati comes to Xbox Series, Switch, and PC consoles. Season, A Letter to the Future comes to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 and PC. SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake comes to PS4, Xbox, Switch, and PC. We Were Here Forever comes to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One. Football Manager 2023 comes to the PS5 on February 1st.
Let me tell you, Football Manager.
Chef Life, a restaurant simulator, comes to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox, Switch, and PC on the 2nd. Deliver Us Mars comes PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC on February 2nd. Deliver Us Mars is a game that I played. Deliver Us the Moon. This is a sequel to that. I'm looking forward to playing this, actually. I didn't realize it was already coming out. Life is Strange 2 comes to Switch on February 2nd. Tales: The Backbone Preludes comes to PC on February 2nd. And lastly, The Pathless comes to Xbox Series, Xbox One, and Switch on February 2nd. Dev, is there anything that interests you off this list?
Nothing really. No.
Okay.
To be honest.
That's fine.
Nope.
I want to play Age of Empires too. I've actually always wanted to play Age of Empires, and I have a computer now, so I can very easily do that. I don't know if I'm going to play. I know that the Definitive Edition's already on Game Pass for PC, but I definitely want to get into it. I've heard Age of Empires 2 is the best of that series, so I do really want to play that. Deliver Us Mars is also. I don't think I'm getting that anytime soon, but that should be a good game based off the first one. All right, let's get into the topic of the show tonight. Let's talk about the Xbox Developer Direct that happened last Wednesday. Let me pull up my notes because I did jot a few things down about it. So, overall, I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really well made, really well presented. I mean, it's definitely it was a better produced showcase than I would say either the PlayStation State of Plays are or the Nintendo Directs are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the presentation of it, I think so. I mean, Nintendo Direct is really just swipe. I'm talking the presentation of it.
Mm-hmm. They're usually the standard. It feels like
it just felt well made. It just felt like they put time and effort into shooting the Direct.
I don't know if it will work for more announcements. I mean, they had 5 announcements here, and I think that's perfect for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it for what it was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Forrest, how did you overall feel about the showcase before we get into the different games?
I did not give a single shit about anything on there until I was literally watching it on fast forward at 2 times speed because I did not care until I saw Hi-Fi Rush.
And we'll talk about Hi-Fi Rush when we get there. But there's something he liked on there. I think that's crazy. I didn't think Forrest was gonna like anything on this showcase at all. Yeah. But anyways, let's get into it. So first, Mojang went up first. They showed off Minecraft Legends, kind of an action strategy game, PvE, PvP. So before I was interested, I'm not gonna lie, I think this game looks really cool. I love the concept of it, where it's all right, well, you can go exploring. Someone needs to defend the castle. Someone needs to go exploring for resources. Someone needs to set up on the offense. Different strategies. I thought this game looked really awesome. I'm really excited to play this game. It just seems like you need a lot of co-op buddies for it, so that could be kind of a hindrance for me. But
I'm down to try it. Minecraft Legends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool. I didn't know what it was before.
Yeah.
Seeing this, it was oh, this is kind of cool. It's a build a base, defend it, attack other people's bases. That seems pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it looks really cool. Not just using the Minecraft IP, but just the game itself. This could be a non-Minecraft game, and I'd be like, oh, this looks really cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah. Or what did excuse me. What did you think?
For Legends?
Yeah, just some thoughts.
I was like, oh, it's Minecraft. Okay.
It's just Minecraft like on paint. Like it's a paint of Minecraft, but it's not actually Minecraft.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I
Minecraft
was like,
game,
oh,
but
okay.
gameplay is
Alright.
very different than
I
traditional
was
Minecraft.
very much like, that's a game. There's Minecraft.
You know what it reminded me
Crafting of
of?
mines.
It reminded me of Fortnite before it became the battle royale, like original Fortnite, where you build a base and protect yourself from zombies. That's what it reminded me of.
Oh, the OG Fortnite?
Yeah,
Dang.
the original Fortnite.
All right, so
Bro,
Forrest,
most
I want you to,
Fortnite players don't even know that was the original Fortnite.
all right, so Forrest, I want you to say one nice thing about Minecraft Legends before we move on.
Um, those legends look real legendary.
There you go. They look
I'll take
legendary.
it.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's a win. All right. Minecraft Legends launches April 18th. They gave release dates for their games.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was all. Well, mostly.
Yeah.
Almost all of them. Well, the ones that mattered.
Not the ones that mattered, I think.
The ones that mattered the most, I'd say so. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, game looks great. Comes April 18th. I'm excited. Next up, we got Turn 10 Studios. They showed off the new Forza Motorsport game. I check in on Forza when they come out just to see where the technology's at. And I mean, I gotta say, from what they show, the technology just looks incredible. Like, just like the physics engine, the light, like it's just the color rendering, the damage, the dirt, the dynamic day, the dynamic night, the dynamic weather, the dynamic fog. The way they're saying that every single lap will and every single race will play differently due to things like moisture on the ground, which is also dynamic, which is linked to the weather. It just seems like it seems really ambitious, but will you notice it when you're going full speed in a racing game? No, probably not.
It's a lot of small stuff, but that small stuff adds up and makes the game
Yeah,
good,
I mean, I'm definitely going to check it out. It's going to be on Game Pass, and again, I check in on Forza just to see where the technology's at, and I think that this is going to be a really gorgeous game to play.
I most likely won't play this because I think I said this before. I like the Horizon
Yeah.
DNA more.
That's fine.
So, but it's a pretty game, pretty cars.
All right, Forrest, what did you think of Forza?
They're cars, and they got from point A to point B. It looks like pretty well. So, the car did the car thing, and I think that the cars are gonna do the car thing in the car game, and all the cars will be fine. That is the cars.
Wrong.
No, he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. All right, well, so we did not get a release date for that. I think that's what you're implying. Forza, they gave us a 2023 release window.
I thought there was another one, but I was wrong. Looking through it, I was wrong.
Yeah, you are incorrect. This was the only one that didn't get a straight up date.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think that they're saving this for the end of the year. All right. Next up, this is the one that's going to have the most conversation. We heard from Tango Gameworks, which we were not expecting. They were like, actually, there's a funny story, right? So there was actually in the original script for this week's episode, Hi-Fi Rush was in the script because it was like, oh, is Tango Games about to reveal a new game or something like that? And I actually had it in the script originally. But then at the direct, they revealed it, so I just threw that out.
Well, I think 2 days before the direct, it got leaked.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay,
That was in my news headline.
Which I want to talk about maybe at the end of this about the leaker, some things he said.
Sure. Let's see. But yeah. So anyway, so Tango Gameworks, they show what they're working on. Hi-Fi Rush. It's a departure from the studio, which generally makes horror games. Shinji Mikami is the head of the studio. You know what I mean? Like the guy that made Resident Evil.
Complete turn. This game looks pretty cool.
This game looks amazing, and also it's apparently receiving critically and everyone loves this game. Like this game is reviewing very well, both with critics and with fans alike. I do know that Hi-Fi Rush. Are you ready for this one? Hi-Fi Rush outperformed Forspoken on Steam this past week.
Nice.
That's kind of crazy because that's a big Square Enix release that was hype, that was marketed, and more people played Hi-Fi Rush on Steam than Forspoken.
I like the very it gives me Sunset Overdrive vibes.
Oh yeah,
in terms of color and the city that he shows them
It reminds me of Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, a little bit of Scott Pilgrim. Anything you put music based in a game, it automatically gets like an extra 5 points for me. I like music based things, so seems cool.
It feels Borderlands-ish too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this game has a lot of charm to it. The writing seems really well done. It seems like a genuinely funny game, with just a really awesome, like really awesome idea. It's a rhythm game. Oh, go ahead.
TJ just said on Metacritic is 90%.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think OpenCritics it's higher. I think it's 91.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna play it. I'm gonna. That's like I'm probably gonna have to play it at some point.
Will
I gotta
Force.
wait for like a sale or something to grab it.
You know, you could get it for $15 right now.
Yeah, for a month and pay $15 a month for it.
That's fair.
No.
Anyways, yeah, I was really surprised for Hi-Fi Rush to be what it was. Looked great, and then they completely shocked me because they were like, and it's coming out today. They did the thing,
Yeah.
and I was like, holy shit, really? And like me, I just started Fire Emblem, so like I'm working on Fire Emblem. There's no chance I'm playing Hi-Fi Rush like any at right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that kind of sucks, but I mean, really cool. But yeah, it's blown up, reception wise, that people are really into this game. And can we just like stop and think about it for a second? That this is if someone told you a week ago, hey, Xbox is going to be putting out a first party Japanese developed video game and it's going to do extremely well and be critically praised, like, you wouldn't believe me. Forrest, would you believe me if I said that?
No.
Exactly.
But I also just don't believe you anymore. So.
I think that's a little unreasonable. I would like to know why you don't believe in me anymore.
It's a long story. We'll get to it later.
Yeah, we'll get to it later. We don't got time for that on the podcast.
No, okay, sure.
We're gonna have to sit you down and talk about it.
Please do. I would love it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Hi-Fi Rush. I think as everyone is here. Forrest, say one nice thing about Hi-Fi Rush.
Bro, let me tell you, this game actually looks fire. Like, I legitimately want to play it. Like, and I like that they don't punish. They said, literally, my first worry and most people's worry was that this game. Oh man, I'm like really shit at rhythm games. Like, literally, somebody was like, "Oh, I want to play it, but I'm bad at rhythm games." And I was like, "Well, they said actually in the press release that." Hey, actually, you just get better. You do better if you do get it, but you still can fight if you don't get it. And I thought that was awesome. And I was like, "Oh, okay, hell yeah. Like let's do that. That's great. Like reward me for doing good. Don't actively punish me for being not good at rhythm."
Yeah, I think having a low barrier for entry but a hard to master
Yep.
is great. Plus, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then just think of the crazy combo videos that are gonna start popping up on speedrunners and stuff for this game of them like doing these like crazy like moves that are perfect on beat. Like it's gonna be insane. It's got so much content potential as well. Now that's what really makes a good game.
Yeah, and props for them because like I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but they're using licensed music for this game. This isn't just them making some cool guitar riffs in the studio. Like I didn't catch everyone, but I saw the Black Keys on there, and they have they're a good band. I like the Black Keys, but yeah, it's awesome that they're going out of their way to bring in licensed music. Like this seems like a genuinely well-made, smartly developed game that it looks like a lot of fun to play, and it just looks super entertaining. And Jeff isn't here, but Jeff has said in the Discord this past week that any game where you can pet your cat is 11 out of 10. You can pet your cat in Hi-Fi Rush.
True. There's another thing in this game, and it left my brain.
Oh, hey, producer Jeff has arrived. I just got off of work. What's up, guys?
What's up, producer Jeff?
Hey, what's up?
So I was just watching this B-roll here, and holy crap, this game looks amazing. And yes, the cat looks freaking awesome.
Cybercat.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, if you've ever played Fortnite and if you've ever swung your hatchet into the little circles, it kind of looks like that. Like, that's the only beat it looks like you're going to have to keep.
Yeah, it definitely just looks like a really fascinating gameplay loop. And I think that's what really speaks to it. And again, it's well written, it's well designed, the music sounds dope. It's got a cat. And,
Yeah. So real quick, Forrest, you being a streamer, as well as myself, what do you think about them using licensed music? It's gonna be tough to stream
So
this, huh?
I'm a little worried. When he said licensed music, I was like, uh-oh.
Yep,
I
that's
literally
exactly
went,
what I said.
they might have like a streamer safe mode, I'd hope, or like maybe because like so for example, Just Dance is atrociously notorious for this.
Yeah.
Like if you do a Just Dance, that music you'll get slapped with muted, 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 muted. And
Yep.
it's like, okay, so then how do we put the licensed music? Because that's such a the music is part of the game. How's Twitch gonna handle that? How's the developers gonna handle that? Do they care? A lot of people want to stream this. My whole sphere is like, oh my god, Hi-Fi Rush, Hi-Fi Rush, Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
We all want to stream it, and if we're gonna get slapped and striked, as long as we don't get DMCA'd, but if we're gonna get slapped and muted, it's gonna make
For
the
a
VOD
game,
unwatchable.
I mean, I feel like
for a
you
game
know
that's
by
all
now.
about music, it would really suck if you had to go into the settings and turn off music.
Music, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this game's been out for like a going on
No one
almost,
complained yet.
like,
Yeah.
5 movies. Like someone has to have tried this, and like you know what I mean. Like we
Yeah,
have to
I'll look into it.
Yeah,
I
but-
didn't even know this came out.
So
Um,
it would be Rome. So it'd be in the back end, and it's very common for a VOD to get muted. Maybe
Mhm.
they're splitting the audio, which is they could be doing, which is a new technique that people have been kind of using.
We got TJ in the chat saying that there is a stream option in the game.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome. Then maybe they put
Ah.
original music in over it, or make it copyright enough free. Because
Well, so I
I
could be
don't like.
wrong.
What was it?
No, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say because then you have WWE 2K22's version of copyright streamer friendly. They just turn off all sounds, and I'm just like, gosh darn it. But yeah. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say earlier.
Good.
I want my finisher in this game to be through the fire and flames. There's got to be like an ult that is through the fire and flames is the finisher. Come on,
I think
that
if you look
song
at
is
the
like
B-roll,
a Guitar Hero song.
I think if you look at the B-roll, it actually does list the artists. I missed it, but it does run in the trailer.
Nice.
But yeah, man, this was a really awesome game to see them again. They announced it. It released that day. It's been a hit. And it's a Japanese developed first party Xbox game. Like that just blows my mind. The fact that they really did it.
Like
it was
it's
funny.
legitimately stunning.
It was funny because there was a meme, the Captain America Winter Soldier meme where he keeps running past Sam. He's like on your left.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so it was Bethesda trying to put out their first Xbox exclusive, and it was like Starfield and Redfall were Sam, and Hi-Fi Rush was Steve Rogers, like on your left. He's like, God, no. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing this game, and I think that this is something that you're seeing from Xbox and their studios, kind of similar to Pentiment, that which came from Obsidian last year. Like this is a smaller.
Pentiment?
I think it is not smaller in terms of like size, but like it's not a AAA huge release. At least it doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's only about 6 levels. I mean, I could be wrong, but like what I'm saying is like Tango Gameworks is known for one thing, and they were just able to just try something different, and the game was like they were like, okay, let's make this game. Like that comes with Xbox's funding, and I think it's really cool that Xbox is kind of like, hey, make the games you want to make. You know what I mean? Like they bought Tango Gameworks, Shinji Mikami. Like you would think they're just like, all right, you're gonna make Evil Within 3, and you're gonna make a horror game because you're Shinji Mikami, and they were like, no, we want to make this really cool, fun, vibrant, rhythm-based beat 'em up. And Xbox is like, yeah, go for it. That sounds great, and I think that's really cool. Same thing with Pentiment that came out in November.
Yeah, I know what that's. We've seen Pentiment. I didn't have a face to the name kind of situation.
Right.
But yeah, no, I love it, man. Like this is the stuff I want out of my games. The game is done. There's streamer friendly options. It dropped right away. I would have waited months for this game. Actually, probably would have put a pre-order in for it, honestly, if it was like, all right, it's coming out in like 3 months. I'd been like, all right, cool. Like, and they're like, it's available today. And I was like, oh, damn. So it's like, that was just slap. But, oh, man, I'm like, it looks so nice. It's like a nice little cartoon that you get to play. And I'm like, whew. And that ain't even my genre of game, per se. Like, that's one of those ones I'd probably wait on, but I'm like, dang, I really want to play it. If it got me, okay, I am the stingiest gamer. If it got me, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. I'm sure we're going to talk about Hi-Fi Rush again in the future. Whoever plays it first will be wanting to talk about it on the show. Next up was ZeniMax Online. They showed off Elder Scrolls Online, the update, the Necrom update, which comes out on June 5th for PC, June 20th for Xbox. And I gotta say, like, MMOs scare me because of the time sync. But like, I really do want to play Elder Scrolls Online. It just looks like a really big Elder Scrolls game. They even said it's like you could play it like an Elder Scrolls game. And like, I really don't want to do an MMO because it's such a time sink. But like, as far as an MMO goes, I think this looks really good.
Holy crap, that looks good.
Does it? Was producer Jeff said, "Holy crap, it looks good." Are you talking about Elder
The
Scrolls Online?
cinematic teaser.
Yeah.
Really cool cinematic trailer.
Yeah, I mean, Elder Scrolls Online has consistently been really good. So yeah, they didn't actually show too much about it because I think they had a stream after the developer direct. But you know, they
Yes,
touched
they did.
on it. Yeah, they touched on it, and I'm sure it's great. I'm just terrified to play them. All right. Oh, I mean, do you guys have anything you want to say about Elder Scrolls Online? I feel like there just wasn't much there.
Oh yeah.
There's a new class called the Arcanist. It looks freaking awesome. Holy crap.
Oh yeah, Forrest, you have to say one nice thing about Elder Scrolls Online.
They're scrolls and they look
Elderly, I would say.
elderly. Yep,
Holy.
those scrolls sure are elderly.
Anyways,
We're like,
Moving-
we'll take it. That's the best we're getting at.
that's the best we're getting out of them. So we're just gonna have to go with it. DJ says he thinks the gameplay is a bit different. If you want to co-op Skyrim Elder Scrolls, maybe the mod Skyrim together is what you want, but it does look good. Yeah, I think during the presentation they were even like, "Hey, you can play this like an Elder Scrolls game, like third person or whatever, first person, whatever you want to do. Play like an Elder Scrolls game." I think that's cool. Lastly, they showed off Redfall from Arcane Austin, and I mean, I just gotta say, this world looks so awesome. I'm so excited for Redfall. I think this game just looks so good.
I was worried for Redfall until this trailer. I don't know. Seeing the previous things, it felt like they didn't have a direction. And then seeing this trailer is like, okay, I think I see where they're going with this, and I think I'm in for it now. I like it. I like what I saw.
Okay,
It looks cool.
looks good. I like the variety of it. I like that you could go stealthy, you could go loud. There was a lot of different like options, a lot of different gameplay styles. Like they had you going door to door through houses, and then the next thing you know, you're in a giant open world kind of like area, like a harbor. Um, they talk about taking back the neighborhood, like neighborhood by neighborhood, and yeah, I just think this game looks great. I'm very excited for Redfall. Forrest, what did you think?
You guys are gonna. Yeah. So I would play this game, but I won't buy this game.
Which means he's going to buy Game Pass, so he doesn't have to buy Redfall. There it is. There it is.
Or
folks.
game share, have one of his friends buy it and game
Right.
share.
We're gonna steal it. We don't know. That's very decrypted.
Yeah, that's very good. It's like it comes out, it's like, guys, I got the game. It's like,
I'm playing, but I'm not
where did you
buying
buy it from? Buy it.
Bought it. What do you mean?
Like, I'm gonna be playing it day one. Trust me. Don't you worry about it. Stop buying it though.
Let's just say I never bought Modern Warfare 2.
The head shake.
I don't support piracy.
I didn't piracy anything. Someone gave me the game.
I know game shit. But yeah, so we did get a release date for Redfall as well, May 2nd. Thank God this is coming out before Zelda. It's like don't come out later in May. Like don't do it. Don't do it. But so that was the Xbox Developer Direct. I mean, I thought overall it was a really good show. Showed off a lot of good stuff. Xbox, like I said, it seems like they're gonna finally be coming through on this first party promise that they've made to their customers. I mean, this past week alone, you got Hi-Fi Rush. You did get GoldenEye, which whether it's a port or not, it is a first party Xbox game from Rare. You got Age of Empires Definitive Edition coming tomorrow. Later in the year, you got Minecraft Legends, Starfield, Redfall, Forza, Elder Scrolls Online. Like, mean, it's commendable. Like it's like they're having their promise. They're making their promise. Following through.
This Redfall gameplay looks awesome.
Yeah, it does.
That's what I'm saying. This game just looks so good.
So I have something I want to bring up, and I want your opinion on.
Sure, go ahead.
So a few days before Hi-Fi Rush was actually officially announced, it was leaked by some guy named, I think, Horns.
Okay.
And the day after, he said that he also knows he has some information on Redfall and Starfield. He says that they're in a bit of they're in rough shape, development wise.
I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, you know me. I don't like leaker stuff. I always take with a grain of salt. But I just wanted to know. He said Redfall is in better shape than Starfield at the moment, but they're both in some type of they're in a bit of a messy start from what he's seen. And Starfield may not come. They may not be able to keep their promise of coming in the first half of the year, as they said. It might get pushed back, which is also a smart decision because there's a lot of games dropping.
Yeah.
It's better to space the games out. But yeah, I just want to know what you think about that.
I mean, for one, I think you do have to take leakers with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Just because they hear something doesn't always mean it's exactly what they hear. You kind of take Jeff Grubb, for example. We talked about him, and Jeff Grubb heard that all these Zelda ports were coming to Switch, and then they didn't come out. And he's like, the information I heard was kind of twisted.
Mhm.
He took accountability for that. He's like, I should have reported on it more responsibly. You just need to be careful with that, with leakers.
It sounds like it could be someone.
I don't believe that Redfall's in bad shape, and I don't think Starfield is in necessarily bad shape. I think that they're trying to make Starfield the best Bethesda game studio game of all time. I think that they're trying to really go in and really iron out the bugs, because Bethesda's known for its bugs. Like, that's just factual. Like, they're really known for it.
Yeah.
And I think, again, we talk about Xbox. Like, they've learned this lesson. They want the games to be good. So I'm okay with them taking an extra 6 months to.
Yeah, I'm all for pushing a game back.
And also, I don't think it should come out in the first half of this year anyway. Like, when they said both Redfall and Starfield were coming out in the first half of this year, I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Unless you have like Gears of War ready to go this holiday season, I don't see a reason why you don't hold on to Starfield until the end of the year.
Another thing he mentioned is that Diablo 4 is in a similar state, and that will also be. It has a release date of June 6th, but that's also questionable. So we could see a lot of games being pushed back.
But it's interesting that this leaker has information from both Xbox and Activision.
Yeah.
Activision's not owned by Xbox yet.
Yeah, but I think from what I'm seeing, like I don't know, I don't believe the leaker. But also he
leaked
he or she did leak Hi-Fi Rush.
TJ just said the same thing in the chat, and I think there's definitely credibility to an extent there. But again, like these leakers, they hear things and they run with it. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, maybe development for Redfall and Starfield at one point was bad. Like, both games got delayed already. Doesn't mean they're currently in bad shape. You know what I mean? Like, there's always like there's always kernels of truth in these things. But not all. Like, it doesn't mean it's word for word the exact same thing or the truth.
Yeah.
All right.
Honestly, what game is in good shape? I mean, I feel like. I wouldn't be surprised if both of those games are having a rough.
Industry's not in good shape.
Yeah.
I'm sure Skull and Bones is going to be great.
Ugh.
That was sarcasm for the audio listeners.
Oh, what's the Football Manager? That's my pick of the stream. The Football Manager one.
Football Manager 2023. All right, guys. So let's just let's slap a grade on the Xbox Developer Direct. If you had to give it a grade, Dev, what would you give it letter grade wise?
Letter grade? I'm gonna give it a number grade out of 10.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I think it was pretty good.
Okay.
8 out of 10.
So I'll try to translate mine over. I was going to give it an A-, but I'll translate it over to a 9 out of 10. I think that you gave release dates, you showed off your games, and they all look great, whether they're for you or not. Like, if you're into the genre of game that it is, it looks phenomenal, I think. If you're a racing guy, like, you got to look at Forza and be like, this game looks incredible. You also announced Hi-Fi Rush. You shadow dropped it. It looked great. It has been received great. So yeah, I would give it a 9 out of 10. Just you had a surprise, you showed off games, you gave release dates, they all look great. Job well done. Forrest.
C B-.
B-. What's that a number wise? Since Devroro started us doing numbers now.
6, 7 maybe.
Is it B a 6? No, B's not a 6. A C is a 6. So a 7. We'll go with 7 then. If you said B-, I would say it's a 7.
Sure.
You think that's fair?
I mean,
I mean, you
great.
look at the numbers.
Just make it easy. You go A plus is 10, A is 9.
He said a B, which is a
And then he
6,
said-
and it's not the same thing.
Well,
Oh, this is the dumbest way for this to happen, but here we go, gamers. Lock in. They're arguing. Here we go.
No, what grade do you want to give it?
Yeah, what is it? Is it a B or a 6, Forrest?
He said it's a B6.
A B.
That's what he's
B6.
going with.
I got bingo.
Producer Jeff, do you have a grade or a score you want to give the developer direct?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Dev. I'm gonna give it a 8. You know, and I'm gonna call that a minus because I would go A plus is 10 and A is 9. We'll go A minus is an 8. Yeah, I think that's, you know, there wasn't a lot of games that I'm like super hyped for, but that high rise game looks incredible. I think I'm definitely gonna try playing that one. And now that I'm watching all this Redfall gameplay, it looks slightly concerning, but I can't wait to see the speed runs of this. Like this looks like it was made for speed running, and I'm super excited for that because I love speed runs.
Yeah, I think so.
And I gave it an 8 because I'm really hungry for something from Microsoft on my plate. I'm getting like, samples.
Yeah, it's coming. Like they're like, hey, we're sorry, the kitchen was a little backed up, but it's coming out now.
Just want more.
Ooh,
TJ
TJ coming in hot.
Parameters, they said if they execute the presentation structure, that's a win. This is either a 9.5 or 10 out of 10 for TJ. Hi-Fi Rush, Game Pass. I mean, yeah, I pretty much agree with him. I gave it a 9 out of 10, so I would agree with TJ for the most part here. I think that they're like one big announcement away from a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Like if you also showed off like one more, like basically if you ended your show with one more thing, Gear 6 or like something like that, that's a 10 out of 10 showcase right there. You gave updates on all your games. They all look great. Here's the release dates. Here's 2 to announce games. One of them's coming out today. The other one's coming out a few months from now. That's a 10.
And we are supposedly getting a Starfield announcement, and
We are getting a Starfield showcase at some point soon. Yes.
Yeah.
I gotta
the
show
only
some
reason
more
I
of this
gave it a six-
Redfall here.
Good.
I gotta show some more of this Redfall here. They just showed a clip of a dude going straight up in the air with a sniper and sniping somebody down on the ground. That was cool as fuck. So
I think it's because the characters can use each other's moves. One of the characters has like an elevator that you can like get in and you go up wherever you are. I think that's what it was.
that was like quick scoping. That was awesome.
Yeah, the sniper dude. Yeah. So the only reason I gave it a 6 was because I really don't care about anything other than Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush being the surprise bop that it is and just dropping. That was it. That was why it got us like that was it. Otherwise it would have gotten a 0. I don't care about Cars Go Zoom. I don't care about Minecraft Go Boom. Like I don't care about Elder Scrolls, and I also don't care about the
I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed that Forrest didn't keep the rhyming going.
Yeah.
I screwed it up.
If you had kept
tried
going,
on
you
the
would have
last
got a 10 out of 10, but you did not.
I get a 6 out of 10.
Yep, that's a B.
Now is it a B or?
I still got bingo. I don't care.
I guess so. All right. Well, I think that's just gonna do it for us here tonight. Thank you to everyone who hung out with us in the chat. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, so you can, be tuned in when we go live here on the Game Room podcast. We also have a wrestling podcast on Wednesday and Friday nights, usually after Dynamite and Rampage. Make sure you follow us in our social medias down below, Twitter. Make sure you follow Forrest on Twitch. He puts out.
Don't follow me on Twitch. Stay over here.
I'll stay. Wait, YouTube. YouTube. Follow me.
No. Tell them. No, just tell them to stay here. They don't gotta do nothing.
Okay.
No, I don't want to see any of you. No, okay.
Don't follow Twitch or don't follow Forrest on Twitch. But it is in the description below because he can't be trusted. Apparently I can't be trusted. So I'm going to plug him regardless.
Now, I don't have Dev's info down below, so Dev, if you want to plug some of your stuff, go right ahead.
No, but
that doesn't have anything. Really.
Like, I'm good.
He's like, I'm good.
just like and subscribe to this channel if you like it. Come back.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, yeah, we'll see you guys next time. We will see you. I believe this week we're doing our Dynamite review on Thursday, due to life not working the way it needs to. But yeah, we will see you guys Thursday. Until next time, see you guys later.
Bye.